Hey, what's up, everybody? Bro Trio here, and we're finally bringing back the Pow Wows. We know y'all have been wanting it, and
It's been a while.
it's been a while. We just really haven't had anything we thought was really Pow Wow worthy. I mean, there was some stuff, but not a lot. But now, all three of us have played and beaten Metroid Dread, and we can't stop talking about it, so we figured we'd get the camera rolling and record some of us talking about it. Because, my God, this game is incredible. It's already a Game of the Year contender. I know it's like halfway through the year already, like over half, but still.
Way over
like,
half. It's almost the end. It's about to be November.
Well, you know what I meant.
Yeah, like there's still room for something to come in.
Yeah.
An hour into this game, it was Game of the Year contender. Like, it was ridiculous.
Oh,
like, it lets you get going from the start.
It was pretty much everything I wanted. Like,
real quick, before we get into it, we're going to have a little bit of structure this time, since it's all three of us talking about the same game. So we're going to start by talking about the gameplay, then we're going to talk about the bosses, and then we're going to talk about the story. So if you just want to hear us talk about the gameplay before anything spoilery happens, you're set. We'll have a big spoiler warning before then. Yeah. But we're going to spoil the absolute shit out of it. So if you don't want to see it, leave when the warning happens. So Metroid Dread's gameplay is probably the fastest I've ever felt Metroid be. Like, it's
moves so good and so fast.
It's so smooth.
Yeah,
that's the big thing.
And like wall
it's not just fast.
It's fast. It's smooth. It's like wall jumping is easy. It's like not like an advanced technique.
Yeah, you can't accidentally mess up the space jump and get like tripped out of it.
Right, like. It still has a little bit of nuance to it.
Oh, yeah.
So everything feels earned, but nothing feels cheap and given to you. Like, I don't know how they did it. They balanced it perfectly. Like, you feel like a badass, and you just do all this stuff that normally...
When you don't feel like a badass, you do a couple of things, and then you start feeling like a badass again.
Yeah, and almost always, anytime you die or something, you're just like, yep, I know what I did. I can fix this.
Oh, yeah. The best thing is it just nailed that Metroid feeling where it's just like, I have to figure this out.
Right.
I can't just brute force it. I have to figure something out.
It didn't hit it in a bad way where, like, I don't know, where you're just like, what? How would I even known that? Like, kind of thing. It was so well done. Like, just enough to nudge you in the right direction, but not like a little flash on your map where to go. It was just like, hey, now you got to do this. You might want to go do that. And Adam's talking to you and whatever.
But even then, it would give you the little flashes on your map of secrets you hadn't found. So it was actually the most like user-friendly Metroid game, because it would literally like flash an area and just like, hey, explore here.
Something's here.
Oh yeah, because
just that way bomb everything.
Yeah, you just bomb or missile everything in that one room.
Yeah.
Instead of
the entire
I'm gonna
map.
have to bomb and missile this entire map to see where this missile tank is.
Yeah, my only real complaint is that like the music was a little underwhelming and that we didn't really have that many new power-ups.
Yeah. And one of the new ones, I forget what it's called, the super, not the power bomb, but the like cascade bomb.
Cross bomb.
Oh,
cross bomb.
That was cool.
Cross bomb was incredible.
But you got it like
underutilized, but incredible.
You got cross bomb way too late. It was used for a few puzzles, once for the plot, and that's it. Like,
yeah, and it was kind of nice because if you feel like 100%ing it, you're just like, I remember a couple of places this will be in handy.
Right.
And, I know there's a sequence break to get cross-bomb early and all that kind of stuff, but we didn't
of course, it's Metroid.
We didn't do that, so apparently. So
if you can't sequence break Metroid, you're not doing it right.
Exactly.
Or they didn't do it right.
And my favorite one is the flash dash or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. I forgot, but where Samus just you can do 3.
Yeah, I did love that.
So good.
Phase shift?
Phase shift. There you go. They brought back the map thing from Samus Returns, but way late in the game. I don't know why they gave it to you so late. But
it's just if you feel like 100%ing it, you can go back.
Yeah, the scanning thing. The flash, or what was it called again?
Phase shift.
Phase shift was so cool.
Oh, it added so many like mobility options.
Turning invisible was really cool too.
Yeah, Metroid has stealth now. up until
That's true, yeah.
now all we had was Zero Mission, and that was it for the stealth, and that wasn't like the best ever, but this stealth, my god, the Emmys
Oh, I had so many
Horrifying.
close calls.
got my heart rate up every single time. I'm sitting there like, 12 hours into this game, I hear that chirp and I'm like shivering in my pants and everything, and I'm like, how they managed to do it, make those Emmys like a threat the entire time. They never get easier. It's always just like the same difficulty from start to finish. There's the broken one at the very beginning, but after that, some of them have little quirks to them, but for the most part, it's all the same thing. Like, it's one and done. You get 2 teeny tiny chances to counter out of it when you get got, but that's it.
And I mean, come on with that storm missile. How awesome was the storm missile?
Oh, I mean, once I got storm missile, that's all I used. Like, it was weird because you got the seeker missile in the Prime games, but it had never been in 2D, so having that in 2D was actually really cool. But weirdly enough, even though I used Storm Missile constantly in this one, in 3D, I didn't use Seeker Missile that often.
I used it on bosses, but I can't remember any times other than like the Storm Missile doors that I used it outside.
Oh man, I love that thing. It was so cool. Like all the big, like tanky, not like the big overworld enemies that aren't like bosses.
Wait, yeah, that's right. The ones
that take a good bit of
ones
hits.
that cover up the doors.
Yeah,
I used it on those a lot.
The guys that
the little crabs.
they get the lightning and all that, and they fly at you. That storm missile them. Storm missile was great, and there's one puzzle that was really cool with it where you had to like jump and target it, and then like jump before you shoot it, or the storm missile wouldn't go into the right crevice. It was for one of the power ups. It was so cool. Storm missiles and phase shift. Those are like the best things that they've introduced in these games. I love them so much.
And one thing I'm definitely commending Nintendo for was that map, because it was clunky and confusing, but also like very streamlined at the same time somehow. Because of course it's Metroid, so you come across plenty of places where it's like, oh well, I need power bombs to get through here, so I'll come back later. But you could put a little marker on your map and be like
5 markers.
Yeah,
love them
per
markers.
Area too.
Yeah,
it wasn't cumulative, so you could be like,
they brought back just enough from Samus Returns. I was so happy about it.
And it's like Samus Returns but better.
Right, and we touched on this in our Metroid Prime 4 hype train. Not the same, but the main thing we said we didn't want Metroid Prime 4 to take from Samus Returns was gimmick reliance, and they definitely toned it down in Metroid Dread, because you're not having to counter every single thing that comes at you.
Yeah, the counter is there, but it's more optional.
Definitely there.
And they did the counter very well.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
You can do it while running. She just does this weird like kickflip thing.
Yeah,
It's
that
awesome.
was cool. That made me feel cool every time I did it.
And this isn't really gameplay, but it's not really boss or story, but I guess it's kind of story, but it's not really spoiler, but this is the coolest Samus has ever been, because this is her last adventure in the timeline, so she's a fully seasoned Samus. Like, something happens, like, and she's just like an action hero. She doesn't blink. She like doesn't even flinch. And then
she doesn't give a crap about some of this stuff that's happening.
Looks more annoyed than anything. Like sometimes she's just like, really, this? All right.
She literally has one of the bosses, massive, horrifying boss, screaming in her face, shooting slobber everywhere. She's not even moving, and just starts charging her arm cannon to blast it in the face. Like, she is seasoned, she knows what's up, and she's just a badass and knows it at this point. And it was very cool to see. So we're about to talk about the bosses and spoil everything, so if you don't want to see it, click away. But really quick, before you do that, we want to let you know, no matter what you saw in the trailers of Metroid Dread, it's not that spoilery. Everything they showed in the trailers is pretty early on in the game, which was very refreshing.
Yeah, I was very surprised by
I loved that nothing was really spoiled. Like, you see everything from the trailer within, first 2-3 hours?
Yeah, almost everything you see immediately.
Yeah, it's so, fair warning. Don't think all of Dread has been spoiled for you. Go play it. It's absolutely incredible. But don't get it spoiled here, so click away. So those bosses were
Man,
The
Those
best.
were
best
some of
Metroid has
yeah.
ever had.
because
Yeah.
they were all fun.
Everything, even the dumb little mid bosses with the shield, I was having a great time kicking their ass because you'd fight one, but then later on you fight 2 or 3. And
Yeah,
the
they
spear
always
guys.
kept it fresh somehow. Like, I know the first one, I forget, he's got a name, I forget what it is, the invisible monster thing.
Invisible.
Yeah.
He was pretty cool.
He was cool, and you get used to his pattern, and then he's just like, okay, I'm gonna breathe poison gas on you and make you
Yeah.
spider magnet up here and shoot me in the tail, and then he does that, and then you can melee counter him and like knock his ass down and do a buttload of damage to him. I really like that.
Yeah.
Almost
That
every
aspect,
boss
yeah,
had a
almost-
melee counter like exploit.
Yeah, and you could choose during the movie clip if you wanted to shoot lasers or missiles, and I thought that was an
Oh
excellent
yeah,
touch.
I loved it. Like, I was always shooting missiles.
Oh yeah, until I ran out.
I think it doesn't matter. Like, I think you rack up the damage regardless, but it still was cool to be able to choose what Samus did.
Man, Kraid.
Kraid was good.
That's
Kraid
the
was
best
awesome.
Kraid's ever been. I really like that Kraid fight because most of the time it's kind of like, yeah, cool.
Kraid's
here.
he
Whatever.
was as he's always been, but a little bit more.
Yeah.
You fight him, and he's like throwing his fingernails at you and stuff like that.
Spitting
and,
loogies at you
Yeah.
or whatever. Like.
and then you go down and fight him, and he's got this nasty belly button that he's
Yeah,
shooting
it's
things out of.
belly
and,
button's
like,
infected this time
yeah,
for some reason.
It's disgusting. But the coolest thing to me is I didn't actually do this. I found it online. But if you get the bombs and stuff early, there's actually a bomb block there. Then you can launch yourself into Kraid's belly button, start blowing him up from the inside. It's an insta kill.
Yeah.
It's really cool that they put this in. And other than that, Kraid was kind of hard. At least for me.
He took me a while to get through.
I don't know if he's shooting off like the little baby Kraids like from Super Metroid or what. He was shooting out of his belly
That's
button.
what I think they were.
But it
I
was
don't know.
disgusting, and I hated him. But I loved seeing Kraid again. And then...
And we got like 2 badass Samus moments in that. Because
Yeah.
at the beginning, when you were talking about when she was just like, ugh.
This guy again.
But then at the end, when he shoots one last spike and she just like barely dodges out of the way,
Yeah.
and she's just like, really, dude? Like,
Kraid was very cool. And then I know there's that weird sea monster thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
that one was like the
I didn't
weakest.
care for that
I
one.
don't
was the
remember
weakest
anything's
one.
name.
It's just like if I had the gravity suit, this would have been fun, but I don't.
Yeah.
So it's just slow.
Yeah, I did.
I don't like.
I don't know if
slow.
I would like that as much in the gravity suit, because then you're just shooting it. You don't have to do the puzzle part.
Right.
Yeah, I like
Because
the
that was
puzzle
cool.
part,
How you,
but
like you
I don't
drain the
know.
water and then you like skate across the top and shoot it from the other side.
Yeah, it was just too slow.
But,
That's all it
yeah.
was. Like my movement felt so hampered.
If you
I
didn't have
care
to do
for
it
that.
like 4 times, like,
Yeah.
if you just had to drain the water like twice.
Yeah. It could have been shortened
Yeah.
or switched up a little bit. Something could have been done. That was probably the weakest boss fight.
Yeah,
but after
'cause-
that, you get to... I can't decide between the Experiment and Ravenbeak, who was my favorite boss fight. But the Experiment, my god,
The
was
experiment
so
was-
cool.
That one took a
experiment was
long
awesome.
time for me.
He's dragging around Samus like on his face, and she's just blasting away at him. He's crawling on this tower trying to get her off.
The fact
Yeah.
that he literally just like turns the game into like Super Meat Boy or the Messenger or
Yeah.
something like that halfway through the boss fight was so cool to me.
And
Like-
thank God that his like fan projectile pattern is the same every time, because otherwise I don't know if I would have beaten it.
Honestly, that was my favorite thing. Like about every boss was they were challenging, but not like it was the absolute perfect amount of challenge.
Yeah.
Where I never beat a boss on the first try, and I loved it. Like I had
Yeah.
to try and learn the patterns, learn the weaknesses, and learn how to dodge. It was amazing. I
Yeah.
loved how they
And
handled all the bosses.
Speaking of dodging, during that fight, my game over screen every time was like the little message at the bottom, just all boss attacks are dodgeable, and I was just like, man, screw you, stop making fun of me.
Man, let's talk about Ravenbeak for a second, though. That fight was
God,
ridiculous.
that probably took me like 2 hours.
It was so
it didn't even feel
cool.
like a Metroid fight. It was like
he
some
was-
other game intruded into Metroid for that boss fight.
Yeah, he had a lot of like Samus powers, but then some. He could just turn invincible for a while, shoot a miniature sun out of his cannon, shoot a little black ball out of his cannon, and power bombs solve every problem. So you just power bomb
just
them
about,
away. But good God, you had to be like completely
all
on your toes all the time, or Ravenbeak's gonna you up.
Well, he knocks out like 4 energy tanks in 4 hits.
Oh yeah, if you get stuck in that melee combo, you might as well just start over and let him kill you.
Nothing in the game had me freaking out as much, I don't think, as when I saw Ravenbeak grow friggin' wings and start flying around. I was like, Jesus!
These bird people have
my
wings?
God! I should have expected it because he's a bird, but you never see wings on these people.
Yeah, they don't ever draw wings on them.
It was awesome.
Yeah, he's flying around. That was the hardest part of the fight for me.
Yeah, you shoot one wing off, he rips off the other one, and he's pissed now.
Yeah, like when I shot the wing off, I made a joke like to Daniel. I was just like, "Uh-oh, I just turned him into Sephiroth."
Yeah.
But then he ripped the other wing off immediately, and I was just like, "Oh God."
Yeah, he just doesn't care.
He's about to hurt me now.
But Ravenbeak was probably the best like evil doppelganger for the Metroid franchise, because Dark Samus is awesome and everything. The SAX was really cool, but none of them really fought like Samus. Like the SAX did a little bit in the first phase, but it wasn't like, I don't know, Ravenbeak's Samus, but better, because he's using like the phase shift. He uses like the shine spark at one point. He's doing all this other Chozo stuff.
He's got like a 3 times size arm cannon.
He has a zero laser.
His invincibility thing was kind of reminded me of the Aeon ability from Samus Returns, the lightning armor, which makes you invulnerable for a little bit.
Very similar.
It could have been. It was also, God, yeah, Ravenbeak was just a badass from start to finish. And it was really cool, but I think we gotta get into the plot now, because there's not too much else to say.
Double time spoilers, baby.
So there's not too much plot in Metroid, because there never really is. It's more of the atmospheric, like, feeling than plot, but this one had a good bit. Like, probably had the most plot of any Metroid,
and it's right off the bat too.
Yeah, besides, like, Prime 3 might have had it, because there's
excluding like lore and stuff like that, the scannable items. Like, this one had a good bit, and it had like 2 lore dumps, like one halfway through and one at the end, and it was just like, oh my God.
One of the other things that freaked me out is Chozo, the ancient robe, or whatever, quiet robe. He started talking in a different language. I expected him to just be English or no voice at all, but then Samus started speaking Chozo back. I was like, oh shit! I was okay, we can have Samus talk.
It makes sense she
but
talks
not
that
too
way,
much.
but
Because like other M, too much talking. It's like, you're Samus, no, but she can still talk. She just talks like a bird. That's
Yeah, but oh man, they really.
Yeah, he's just
kinda,
like, hey,
I
Samus,
don't know.
She's like, I'll handle it. I don't know.
It was just so cool to me how they super mega incorporated Metroid 2 into the plot of Metroid 5.
Well, Metroid 2 is like a keystone plot point.
Yeah, I know, and
it always has
up
been.
until Samus Returns.
And it's weird because that's the game nobody likes.
Yeah, it was always the black sheep, the one no one played, no one liked. It was terrible. But now that Samus Returns is out, everybody was like, "Holy shit, this is cool!" And now, I mean, it's the same developers that did Samus Returns and everything. They were like, "Yeah, y'all, we're doing Metroid 2 is important. So is 4."
Yeah.
Jeez, what about 4? That bridge scene when you release all the X parasites.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous.
Man, I felt terrible because I was just, or like when I got to that door and it was like 8 locks opened up, and I was just like, I'm about to let something out that shouldn't be let out, and I did.
I thought
the X parasites were locked in there.
See, leading up to the game, I was hoping the X parasite wasn't in here. I played through all the 2D Metroids earlier in the year, And I got really annoyed at the X parasites in Fusion. It's just because every enemy was an X parasite. It was just weird. I didn't care for it after a while, but seeing them, how they implemented them in here, made me so happy. It's like I didn't even want them, and then when I'm crossing the bridge in an oddly beautiful scene,
I was like beautifully terrifying.
Yeah,
seeing all these swarms of multicolored X parasites just flying all over the place.
But I was so happy to see him at that point. I didn't even want it, and it made me happy. That's how good Metroid Dread has done.
The part that really like took me by surprise after that happened was there was a swarm of bugs that you normally just kill to get like health and missiles and shit. And I killed it. And then it was all just a bunch of little X parasites. I was like, oh my god, this planet's gone.
Yeah,
it's
like
the X
You
now.
talk to Adam and he's just like, the X parasites are loose.
Good
this
job.
This is bad. Like,
good job, idiot.
And then it's literally everything you find after that because they're loose and they're hungry.
Yeah. But they did it very well. How everything was X. You never really. Did you fight the little X balls?
Yeah, a few bosses turned into them.
One of them just fell in the lava.
I know the experiment.
Yeah, because that was X Parasite version of Invisible Dude.
Yeah. Well, no, they were experimenting on that thing earlier too.
I was thinking we were.
But then after you fight him, if you go back to that spot, he's not there anymore.
No, he's dead.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
They're taking over dead bodies.
I really was thinking we were going to get an X Parasite Kraid, but we did not.
We kind of did.
Kinda, but yeah, I thought we were going to get a Kraid fight the whole time.
I kept thinking he was going to come back because like he fell in the lava, and I was like, he's not gone. He's going to crocomire me. Come back as dry Kraid.
It was so satisfying how Samus took out that final Emmy like it was nothing in a cutscene, though.
All of the Emmys were cool, though.
Because she is a straight Metroid now, not just like a vaccine.
Catches it,
absorbs it
without knowing how or whatever.
And now you have power bombs or whatever. And then after that, you're doing the counters on the Spear Chozo X parasites, and now she absorbs them instead of like.
She just pins them to the ground and soaks them up.
I felt a little bad for him. Like,
well, they were trying to escape. Like, they were trying to run after that point.
No X parasite gets away. Samus gets shit done.
And then you get to the end, and you're talking to Adam, and then he's just like, hey, I'm actually Ravenbeak. Let's fight. And I was just like, what the hell? I didn't see that coming, honestly. It was weird.
Didn't either.
I accidentally saw it coming because my Switch's battery ran out halfway through when you're looking at the Chozo wall and the Emmy breaks out and you meet Quiet Robe.
Yeah.
And when I turned it back on after plugging it in, it skipped a little bit. And I did not know that Quiet Robe introduced himself. I thought that his conversation started with, this is Ravenbeak that you've been fighting. So when my computer knew Quiet Robe's name, I was just like, how do you know his name? So I stopped trusting my computer like halfway through, and then because of that, a little while later, I was like, hold on. He hasn't called me lady in a long time.
Yeah, I noticed the lady thing. I just thought they were trying to stay away from it. Like, I know they said it at the beginning, but I thought they were just kind of trying to bury that a little bit and not bring it up all the time anymore because of other M and all that. But no, it was Ravenbeak. He's plotting, and Adam Adam meant what he said when he was like, I can't contact you once you go down that elevator. He meant it. I mean, 100%.
Ravenbeak's talking to you the whole time. He's like, man, that Ravenbeak guy is shredded. I hear he has an 8-pack.
Yeah, that Ravenbeak is a badass. You got nothing, Samus.
He's just like, Samus, you suck. You are never going to beat him. Keep upgrading yourself.
Yeah. And then it was really interesting because you find out Ravenbeak's actually kind of like showing you how to upgrade yourself so he can like better you to make you an army of Samus.
He wants an army of fully upgraded Samuses.
Damn right.
And why wouldn't you?
Nah, the Metroids are gone. I'll get this Metroid now.
Because then
Samus is just a friggin' Metroid.
You're just straight up a Metroid now.
Yeah, you're talking to him, he's like, hey, guess who's your crow daddy?
Yeah,
it's me, baby.
Yeah,
she got the Thora DNA, and she's got some of his DNA. And so he's calling her daughter and stuff.
She's like... a quarter human at this point.
I don't know.
She's got two different kinds of bird.
It's
Metroid, human.
I mean,
other
it makes
things.
sense because like one tribe is not warriors,
Oh, yeah, 'cause,
and
like,
Samus
there's
clearly is a warrior, so having some of the warrior DNA makes a whole lot of sense.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he's just like, hey, guess who's Crow Daddy? Let's don't be an idiot, daughter.
Now, one thing I did like was this was after I beat it. I went looking through that art gallery, and that's some messed up stuff that happened before Samus got there because they're like sacrificing some Chozo to feed the Leviathan thing.
Some to feed Kraid. Crow Daddy's
like,
an asshole.
Well, they both were because Quiet Robe was working with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Because they were experimenting on Invisible Guy, like together.
Yeah.
So they were working together. I'm guessing they were just like, well, we're stranded here. Oh well.
Yeah,
let's do science.
I'm pretty sure Quiet Robe just was like trying not to die.
Probably, but I
still-
think he may be the like morally questionable scientist type guy too, where he's just like, well, I mean, I might as well make some monsters.
Yeah, and now that he had some hope to stop Quiet Robe, he was like,
Yeah.
hey, Samus, go do it. And she's
Yeah.
like, don't worry about it, bird. Get out of it.
Yeah.
But probably one of the biggest moments, obviously, for any game would be the ending, and Metroid Dreads had quite the finale.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't expect Samus to become a full-on Metroid in the way that she did,
Oh yeah.
and turn into Kirby from the end of Star Allies
Yeah.
and just scream.
Like the whole time I was just like, she's going Super Saiyan or something.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
yeah, saw the claw hand after she got choked out by Crow Daddy?
I saw
And
the claw hand. I was like, "What is that? Is that Ravenbeak's hand?" But then no, it's full-on
Yeah,
Metroid Samus hand.
Yeah.
No, she shattered a helmet that a super missile bounced off of.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
started absorbing Ravenbeak while screaming in his face.
And he's just yelling, trying to shake her off, and
Yeah.
he can't get out because her hand is in his skull.
Yeah, she's latched on, full on Metroid now. Armor turned green and red. Cool ass Metroid suit. It was so awesome. And while she was absorbing Ravenbeak, she's simultaneously absorbing all the energy from his ship.
Yes.
Because she's that good of a Metroid, apparently,
Yeah.
that she doesn't even have. Like, he's touching it.
Well,
so
that was
she's
like-
got his stuff.
Unleashed full potential at that time.
Yeah.
Because
And then Samus turns into a Metroid.
Side note.
Oh.
and then
So cool.
Sakurai, please give us a free alternate costume update
Oh,
for
please.
Metroid
I
Samus
want
and
the
Smash
Metroid
Brothers.
suit. I want the
Like
Metroid
that would
suit
be so cool.
bad.
maybe throw in like a Ravenbeak costume for Dark Samus, just so she
Yeah.
has something.
Make him goopy so it'll match Dark Samus because the X Parasite or
Yeah.
something. That would be cool.
But then the
But-
boat
and-
crashes. Ravenbeak's like, ah, shit. And then X Parasite gets him, ah, shit. Turns into Kraid for some reason.
Yeah, that was
But
weird.
yeah, I don't know.
Kraid's head opens up in four directions, and Ravenbeak's just in his head, crawling
That
at
was
Samus.
creepy.
And Samus is like, nah, you know what? Got that. I got this ship laser.
Yeah.
And it's Hyper Beam.
Yeah, you get Hyper Beam. It's
Because-
the second best way to get it.
Yeah,
Fully-
like I found out later because
Still from Metroids.
I didn't try it out the first time I beat it, so I beat it again later because I heard a rumor. And if you pause it, when you go into the pause menu, it says like Metroid suit and Hyper Beam is equipped.
It even
And they've
gives
got
you
little text boxes and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't even give you little tutorial videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
like,
who's gonna
so-
see that? Like
So
that's
much
such a
went
cool
into
touch.
that, and yeah, barely anybody pauses at that point because you're just like,
You got 3 minutes.
there's a countdown, and I'm a badass. Let's do it.
So Ravenbeak is now vaporized. The X Parasite that came out of him also vaporized. Samus didn't even eat that piece of shit. She just vaporized
Yeah.
it. And then, Metroid, you got an escape sequence.
Yeah, obvious.
Just plasma beam everywhere. You could just
Yeah.
fire it constantly. It goes through screw attack blocks. It goes through bomb blocks. It destroys everything in its path. And even if it didn't, if you touch enemies, they just die.
Yeah,
I mean,
you just
Samus-
absorb them.
You're just such a Metroid now. You just absorb by touch.
So Samus by far at her most powerful now. All the Metroid DNA hipping and hopping around in there. She absorbs everything. Gets back to her ship, and I was like, "Hey, don't you touch me! Don't you touch me, Samus! You're gonna kill
that
me!"
Could you imagine if that was the ending and you like accidentally
You
absorbed
absorb
your ship's energy
kill the
and then
ship,
blew
and then
up?
you just blow up.
Yeah, and then but no, that was not the ending. Old Quiet Robe, X-Parasite Quiet Robe was in there, still somehow a good guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
Shows
interesting
up.
to
He's
me.
basically like, "Hey, sorry for turning the Emmy back on. I'm gonna help you now."
Yeah, I guess since they retain the memories, sometimes the other host can kind of influence what happens with the body. But anyway, so Quiet Robe turned into his X-Parasite form and somehow turned off Samus's Metroid suit. Don't know how.
I'm just assuming he like helped her learn how to calm down.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it was activated by rage and desperation, so maybe...
Yeah, because if she can turn that on and off from now on, like, holy crap.
And Samus flew away.
That's it.
And that's it. Very abrupt ending. I didn't care for that too much, how abruptly... I would have liked a text crawl at the end or something. Just like, well, now that I'm a Metroid, I can kill everything, so... I don't know.
Yeah. Right, and I have nothing to base this off of, but I have a feeling... we might get like a free update epilogue or something in the future.
That could be. I didn't even think about that.
I don't even know why. I guess just because the ending was so abrupt, I just feel like that could be a thing.
Well, they gotta throw Ridley in there somehow.
I mean,
yeah, that's epilogue. Is Ridley's like, hey, guess what? I'm back, and she just absorbs him. Now he's gone forever. No, that was actually something I really liked. Is no Ridley. No,
I was pleasantly surprised there was no Ridley.
The only recurring boss was Kraid.
Especially
everything else was new.
Especially when I played them all back to back. I got so bored of fighting Ridley because most of those fights are the same fight. Most of them are pretty much exactly the same. The only one that was different was Samus Returns, and that's like one of my best boss fights of the series. That's one of the that one was so cool.
The fusion one is different because he's just like,
Yeah, it was a little different.
A badly built robot version of
that's Zero Mission.
No, that's Zero Mission.
Oh, that's Zero Mission. My bad.
I wasn't even counting that one. It doesn't even fight really like Ridley too much. But yeah, really just pogoing around on his tail all the time. I was like, all right, I get it.
I mean, if it's a thematic battle like Samus Returns, I might be okay with him coming back.
Yeah.
So getting off the shitting on Ridley bus.
Oh no, I friggin' love Ridley, but just playing all those games back to back, I got so sick of it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, here we go again, Dactyl.
So we talked about a few things we thought that the game could have used to improve it, like getting cross-bomb a little earlier and stuff like that. But one thing Aaron brought up that would be super cool.
Barely any games do this, but they need to give you a Continue Game Plus where you start off fully upgraded with the Metroid suit.
Yeah, just
make that your reward for beating hard mode.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, like I would actually go through hard mode if I got to play as Metroid mode next.
Now you can beat the game in 30 minutes.
Yeah. Like, could you imagine the speedrunners? They're going to do it in like 10.
Right.
But, like, if you just...
Oh, and Samus has to scream the whole time.
Yeah.
Anytime you're shooting hyper beams, she's...
That would be so funny because you could blast through that game if you could literally shoot through any type of wall.
You could literally blast through that game.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Instead of stopping to talk to Adam, you just melt the door and keep going and
just absorb Kraid, absorb any boss. Like it would be a huge power trip, similar to
that would be cool if they had like movie clips
the
of
finger
her,
cannon
like,
from Dead Space.
Of her like forcefully absorbing Kraid.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Like the Chozo soldiers.
But other than that, the only other thing that's really a negative for the game was like the music was not the greatest ever. I've seen a lot of people talk about it. Like it's serviceable. It's good. It's good. It's there.
It's good.
There's nothing that
it's
annoyed
me. There's no standout tracks.
Yeah, really. It's good for playing the game. There's no good like bangers to listen to like in the car or anything like that, which. Somewhat upsetting, but, not the end of the world, and could be fixed with that epilogue idea I had.
Yeah.
So
Samus destroyed her 4th planet to this point, right?
I think so.
I think so. SR-388, Zebus, Phase, and JR-322, or whatever this one's called. ZDR.
ZDR. What?
I forgot the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I forgot she destroyed Phase.
She destroys
I was
a
like,
lot
where
of
are you
planets,
getting 4 from?
And that's what you got to do when the X-Parasites are running amok.
So that's going to wrap up our thoughts on Metroid Dread. Obviously, we loved this game. We're huge Metroid fans, so any Metroid game has our attention, whether that's good or bad. But this one ended up being very, very good. It never stopped being fun. Like, it was just so much fun. Like, Scotty doesn't even 100% games. He couldn't stop playing. He 100%'d it.
I wanted more. I wanted so much more. Like almost every other Metro game, at a certain point, I'm like, I'm just ready to beat it.
Yeah, like I almost hit that point because there were a couple of those missile upgrades that were real hard to do because you had the Shine Spark puzzles.
I don't know.
Oh,
Some of them just make it such a bitch
rough,
to get around.
It was still fun, even though I was so frustrated.
There was nothing not fun about getting around in this game to me, so it wasn't like, oh god, I gotta go back there. No, I did it. I got everything. I only looked up a walkthrough for like one thing. Everything else, I was just like, hi, I'm so smart. Bird brain is not an insult, because that's what Samus is now. She's so smart.
So that's our thoughts on Metroid Dread. Let us know yours in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and everything like that. And be sure to stay tuned to Bro Trio because we're going to be talking more about Metroid in the future because there's a new Metroid out. So that means we got to re-rank all of them. And that's exciting. So we'll catch y'all next time.